Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We are here at Matchless Gifts again, and it's looking a little dark, but
it's okay.
I guess that's just the way it is. So we're kind of in the darkness here. I'll do that and put some light on my face.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, you just need to hear. You don't really need to see. Quality of video and all that don't matter. So, right? We're off to a good start.
As usual.
As usual. Why is your mic sticking up?
So I just want to give a shout out to Lee.
Yo, Lee.
From Bhakti Center, because there may be other Lees that are watching. Obviously, shout out to all the Lees that are
all
watching.
The Lees in the house.
But particular shout out to Bhakti Lee, who is serving at the Bhakti Center. Thank you for watching, and Hare Krishna.
Okay, there you go. You got your moment of glory there, Lee. Okay, so we're reading from the Bhagavatam.
It's Canto 4, Chapter 25, Text 56.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
All right, text 56.
All right.
Being thus entangled in different types of mental concoction and engaged in fruitive activities, King Paranjan came completely under the control of material intelligence and was thus cheated. Indeed, he used to fulfill all the desires of his wife, the queen. Purport. When a living entity is in such bewilderment that he is under the control of his wife or material intelligence, he has to satisfy the intelligence of his so-called wife and act exactly according to her dictates. Various sastras advise that for material convenience, one should keep his wife always satisfied by giving her ornaments, and by following her instructions. In this way, there will be no trouble in family life.
That explains everything.
Therefore, for one's own social benefit, one is advised to keep his wife satisfied. In this way, when one becomes a servant of his wife, he must act according to the desires of his wife. Thus, one becomes more and more entangled. In Bengal, it is said that if one becomes an obedient servant of his wife, he loses all reputation. However, the difficulty is that unless one becomes the most obedient servant of his wife, family life becomes disturbed. In the Western countries, this disturbance gives rise to the divorce law. Exactly. And in Eastern countries like India, there is separation. Now this disturbance is confirmed by the new introduction of the divorce law in India. Within the heart, the mind is acting, thinking, feeling, and willing, and falling under the control of one's wife is the same as falling under the control of material intelligence. Thus, one begets children by his wife and becomes entangled in so many activities under the control of mental concoctions. Well, there you go.
What you got to say about it?
I agree. If the wife or the husband is not sober, and I don't mean sober in that they don't drink alcohol, but that if they're not following the sastras, the guru, the sadhus, then there is no point in following them, because they're like blind. They're going to fall in the ditch. You're going to fall in the ditch with them, and all the whingy kids that you've had will fall with you. Hare Krishna. So it's true. Prabhupada isn't talking about a Vaishnavi. He's not talking about Vaishnav. He's talking about ordinary sense control, sense or lack of sense control. And yeah, so it's true. And we see that all the time, don't we? We see that, like, unfortunately, we also see it within our movement, where you're like, whoa, because you see devotees get divorced, and then much older devotees marry much younger people, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? So, yeah, it's a fact. It's a fact. You will, nothing good is going to come of someone who can't control their mind and senses, because they're crazy and they're going to crash, and you're going to crash with them. So I agree.
There's obviously no in-between point, There's either someone who's controlled or someone who's uncontrolled. There's no point of developing a controlled mind and senses with a person. Yeah, that's what you said. You said
What?
they're all going to fall in the ditch. They're uncontrolled.
Finished.
You're crazy. You said you're crazy. You're going to fall in the ditch.
If you're sincerely on the path, if you're sincerely on the path together and you're sincere, then you may tumble and then one picks you up like that. You don't laugh at other people, and you just help them up and keep walking, and the other one tumbles and like that. So that's different.
Okay. So now you know you're not crazy. Or you might be crazy, but we don't know. We have to try to figure out the definition.
That's not what stood out for me anyway. Obviously, you interjected.
No, you were talking about it.
No, you said. But in the Western countries, Prabhupada says, this disturbance gives rise to the divorce law. And it says...
Yeah, you'll be getting your papers soon.
No papers. No one's getting out of this alive. So Prabhupada says, now this disturbance is confirmed by the new introduction of the divorce law in India. So when did Prabhupada write this fourth canto?
Well, it would have been in the 70s.
So it's interesting. And I was thinking, like, when we were growing up in London... grew up, and then my dad would regularly go to India to visit his parents, and he would apply for a liquor license. He don't drink, he's never drunk. No one in my parents don't drink. You know, it's like, Dad, why are you doing that? Because you had to apply for a liquor license in Gujarat. So that was part of the stuff, you know, it was like, you take gifts, you take this, and some people would be like, happy to receive that, as it were, and he wouldn't take liquor, but then he would pay for it, and it was like, what, you have to apply for a license and then you can drink? But that's how it was. I don't know if it still is, to be honest with you. I don't know, but it was like that. So when I was reading this, where Prabhupada says introduction of this new law, which is the divorce law, which obviously in the West is not new, but these things actually are very relatively new. My dad was going over India in the 80s. It's not that long ago, though some people think that's like in the black and white era, but it's not that long ago. And it had like, you had to have a liquor permit, which I think going way back in America, you had to have that as well.
I mean, in the 20s or something. I mean, there was, what was it called? Krishna. Yeah, the point where they banned alcohol for some time and then we opened it back up.
Anyway, I just stood out the context of when Prabhupada was writing as well, you know? Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of liquor, moving on to the next verse, 57 through 61.
Yeah, and then there's only one left.
When the queen drank liquor, King Puranjan also engaged in drinking. When the queen dined, he used to dine with her, and when she chewed, King Puranjan used to chew along with her. When the queen sang, he also sang. Similarly, when the queen cried, he also cried. And when the queen laughed, he also laughed. When the queen talked loosely, he also talked loosely. And when the queen walked, the king walked behind her. When the queen would stand still, the king would also stand still. And when the queen would lie down in the bed, he would also follow and lie down with her. When the queen sat, he would also sit. And when the queen heard something, he would follow her to hear the same thing. When the queen saw something, the king would also look at it. And when the queen smelled something, the king would follow her to smell the same thing. When the queen touched something, the king also touched it. And when the dear queen was lamenting, the poor king also had to follow her in lamentation. In the same way, when the queen felt enjoyment, he also enjoyed. And when the queen was satisfied, the king also felt satisfied. Purport. The mind is the place where the self is situated, and the mind is conducted by the intelligence. The living entity situated within the heart follows the intelligence. The intelligence is herein depicted as the queen. And the soul under mental control follows the material intelligence just as the king follows his wife. The conclusion is that material intelligence is the cause of bondage for the living entity. The point is that one has to take spiritual intelligence to come out of this entanglement. Okay, so all of those things we just heard is, at least Srila Prabhupada is making it analogous. Of course, the whole story is analogous in one sense. But, yeah, so whatever the queen would do, the king would follow. So the queen being the material intelligence and the king being the soul proper. So whatever the material intelligence tells us to do, we follow. So it reminds me of the verse, I think it's 434 from the Bhagavad Gita, Evam param Evam buddhe param buddhva samstad yatmanam atmana jahishatram mahabaho kama rupam darasadam. That if we want to break free of this kama rupam, this kama, this lust, this form of lust, this apparently indestructible form of lust, insatiable form of lust, then we have to become intentionally Krishna conscious. But that takes some serious endeavor. So, like that.
All right, next paragraph.
I'm just hurrying up because I know you desperately want to finish the chapter.
No, I'm talking. In the life of Maharaj Ambarish, we find that the great Maharaj first engaged his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. In this way, his intelligence became purified. Maharaj Ambarish also used his other senses in the service of the Lord. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity in the temple nicely decorated with flowers. He engaged his sense of smell by smelling the flowers. And he engaged his legs by walking to the temple. His hands were engaged in cleansing the temple, and his ears were engaged in hearing about Krishna. His tongue was engaged in two ways, in speaking about Krishna and in tasting prasad offered to the deity. Materialistic persons who are under the full control of material intelligence cannot perform all these activities. Thus, consciously or unconsciously, they become entangled by the dictations of material intelligence. This fact is summarized in the following verse. So we might as well just move to the next verse.
Well, okay.
Because it's summarized there what was said. So we just listened to what Prabhupada said.
Text 62, just to get her done. That's what I'm feeling right now.
Well, that's a shame, isn't it?
In this way, King Puranjan was captivated by his nice wife. And was thus cheated. Indeed, he became cheated in his whole existence in the material world. Even against that poor foolish king's desire, he remained under the control of his wife, just like a pet animal that dances according to the order of its master. Purport. The word vipralabdha is very significant in this verse. Vi means specifically, and praladaha means obtained. Just to satisfy his desires, the king got the queen, and thus he became cheated by material existence. Although he was not willing to do so, he remained a pet animal under the control of material intelligence. Just as a pet monkey dances according to the desires of its master, the king danced according to the desires of the queen. In Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2, it is said, Mahatsevam dvaram mahur vimuktehi. If one associates with a saintly person, a devotee, one's path of liberation becomes clear. But if one associates with a woman or with a person who is too much addicted to a woman, his path of bondage becomes completely clear. See, I've gotten closer to Prabhupada.
Isn't that funny? He moved closer to Prabhupada. But Prabhupada had no problem with the young ladies that came here to 26 2nd Avenue and was speaking to them and associating with them, and he turned them into pure devotees.
He's Paramahamsa.
That's all I've got to say.
I doubt it. Next paragraph.
On the whole, for spiritual advancement, one must give up the company of women. This is what is meant by the order of sannyas, the renounced order. Before taking sannyas or completely renouncing the material world, one has to practice avoiding illicit sex. Sex life, licit or illicit, is practically the same, but through illicit sex one becomes more and more captivated. By regulating one's sex life, there is a chance that one may eventually be able to renounce sex or renounce the association of women. If this can be done, advancement in spiritual life comes very easily. Yes, sannyas. It's the order of sannyas. It's not something to be taken cheaply at all, actually. Is it?
No.
No, it's true though. It's a real test, and Prabhupada says that even when you decide to take to Krishna consciousness, Maya's kind of like, oh, what's that all about? Can you imagine how honed in she is? And then you take sannyas,
It's a declaration of war.
and and we know people get tested, and unfortunate things happen and whatnot. So you got to give some respect to the ashram and people who are sincerely striving to keep it pure.
Okay, so continuing the purport, because it's a little long and we want to finish. How one becomes captivated by the association of one's dear wife is explained in this chapter by Narada Muni. Attraction for one's wife means attraction for the material qualities. One who is attracted by the material quality of darkness is in the lowest stage of life, whereas one who is attracted by the material quality of goodness is in a better position. Sometimes we see that when a person is on the platform of material goodness, he is attracted more or less by the cultivation of knowledge. This is, of course, a better position, for knowledge gives one the preference to accept devotional service. Unless one comes to the platform of knowledge and the Brahma Bhuta stage, one cannot advance in devotional service. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 18:54, Brahma Bhuta prasanatma nashochati nakankshati samasaveshu bhuteshi madbhaktim labate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments, nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Yeah, the Brahma Bhuta platform is definitely an elevated platform, and that isn't even on the platform of pure devotional service. So that's just, in one sense, you could say, understanding everything is Pada Brahman. And so you treat everyone kind of, as it says here, equally. You're equally disposed to every living entity. That in and of itself is a challenge. What to speak of nashochati nakankshati, neither hankers nor laments. But hankering is a general propensity. Oh, I want this, I want that, I want to go here, I need this, I need that, That's hankering. And lamenting is, oh, this didn't happen, or that happened to me, or that happened to them, or why is this happening, or that's lamentation. So these three specific things that kind of epitomize the Brahma Bhuta platform are not easy characteristics to emulate, what to speak of, imbibe, and act from it from a place of realization.
Final paragraph. The platform of knowledge is advantageous because it is a means by which one may come to the stage of devotional service. However, if one takes to devotional service directly, knowledge is revealed without separate endeavour. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.7. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita
Yat Yashu Vairagyam
Jnanam Chaya Ahoitukam. Devotional service automatically reveals actual knowledge of our material existence. One who is sufficiently intelligent immediately attains the stage of renunciation of so-called society, family and love, as well as other things. As long as we are attached to society, family and love of the material world, there is no question of knowledge, nor is there a question of devotional service. By directly taking to devotional service, however, one becomes filled with knowledge and renunciation. In this way, one's life becomes successful. It's interesting that when we're attached to society, family, love, there's no question of knowledge. Sometimes when devotees, when they go home, like to visit their family, whether they live in the ashram or just live, like, don't come to the temple for a while because they're going to visit their family. Yeah, they come back, and it's not that they don't like their family or anything like that, but they do feel like, okay, I'm so glad to be back, because it's like you feel, yeah, things got a bit diluted, or it wasn't as full on as it would be. You have to end up mixing that devotional sentiment with material stuff, if that makes sense. It's interesting, but at the same time, people who are a bit neophyte therefore don't go and visit the family, or become averse because it's like, I need to stay fixed up. And then you've got what Prabhupada's saying, that is, if you just one becomes filled up with knowledge, by taking to devotional service, one becomes filled up with knowledge and renunciation. And so then it's just natural, and just like a sannyasi, but you don't have to be a sannyasi. You can just mix and do this and that, and it's not a problem, It's not a problem to be, you can be with your family, you can be with your colleagues or whatever, and you're still a devotee at heart. So it's very powerful, devotional service.
I was with, we'll end on this, I was with a Prabhupada disciple in Jamashtami, and he said, we don't really know what Krishna consciousness is. He said, we have no idea. We think we know something, but he said, we don't really know what it means to be Krishna conscious and function and act in the world. He said, that we're still trying to discover. Something like that. Okay, thank you all very much, and sorry we missed Monday after the festivity weekend. It was a little intense, and on Monday, apart from my own personal physical difficulties, sufferings, we went to see the Maha Avatar film about Lord Nrsimhadev.
Yeah, it's really good.
And it was good. So we recommend that. Anyone out there watching, definitely, if you haven't seen it, go see it. And I don't know if it's available online yet, but I'd like to see it again. A few devotees are going. We don't know. But yeah, it's a good film. Amazing.
Really good. I didn't think it would be good at all. I was just going for the popcorn, but it was really good. Honestly.
Yeah, it was good. All right, thank you all very much. Please read the Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.